Front brake pads replacement because the brake pads just arrived, so we're gonna continue with that. And for that we are going to open these two Allen bolts from here, this one and this one. These are for the sliders, and it's easier to do that before opening these two bolts and taking out the caliper from the brake discs. So these are the two steps to remove the caliper and the brake pads. Okay, caliper is off, bolts are down there, one for the sliders, the stopper, and the two bolts holding the caliper to the brake disc, and also the old brake pads. They're pretty worn. Okay, now it's time to clean it very well. Clean everything well, and don't press the pistons back until you don't clean it very well, because all the rust and dirt will go inside and that will not be okay. Okay, now that we've cleaned everything and pressed back the pistons, we can now bring out the new pads. I've recommended to the customer Nissan because these are the original ones, and being a sports bike, I recommend the best brake pads, of course. I've also cleaned the sliders and the stopper, and we are ready to assemble back everything in the opposite order that we've disassembled it. Okay, brake pad and caliper are back on. Watch out when you install the stopper from behind, and when you install these two Allen bolt sliders, for it's really important the brake pads to go back in the original place, and these two here, the brake pads to be underneath these two metal stuff from here and here. Make sure you don't have a brake pad here between these two metal parts, because that would be pretty dangerous. We'll torque now to spec the bolts back. These two little guys here will be 10 Newton millimeters, and these two right here, they're gonna be 30 Newton millimeters. Next thing is to do the same thing to the other side, and so I've told you at the beginning of the video that this motorcycle has some vibrations, some brutal vibrations while braking from speeds like 100 or over 100 kilometers per hour. So in order to see the root cause for that, we will check the wheel bearings, the 333 bearing, and also we're gonna try to clean the brake discs between here. We're gonna use this and some WD-40, get this through this and try to do this, and then put some WD-40 there, and then continue to do this 2 or 3 times, and do that for all these bolts maybe, or bearings maybe, for all of them from this side and the other side. And this maybe will a little bit help the brake discs to get looser, so free, so they will work better with the caliper. Actually, I already did this, and I have to admit that the wheel is spinning more freely after I did that. Before it was really stuck. Okay, so in order to check the wheel bearing, I'm gonna grab the wheel like this and try to make some shocks right and left, and if you hear a clunk or a noise, or if you feel any movement in the wheel, that's not good. That means the wheel bearings are loose or broken. Also, you may try to do this, push the wheel backward and forward, and as well, if you feel any movement or you hear some clunk, that means the wheel bearings are broken. It's not the case, the wheel bearings are fine. In order to check the 333 bearing up here, with the wheel up, I forgot to mention that I jacked up the motorcycle from the front of it in order to have the front wheel freely spinning. So try to turn the handlebar from a side to another, and if you feel any resistance, or if you hear any clunk noise or something, or drag, that means that you may have problems with your 333 bearing. Another check for the 333 bearing is to grab the suspension from here, from back here, and try push it forward. It's kind of the same test you did for the wheel bearings. It's pretty stiff, so the 333 from this motorcycle it's okay. So my last resort for the vibration while braking is the brake discs. I'll go around now for a spin to check if cleaning these and moving these helped with something, and if not, that means that the brake discs should be replaced. Okay, so after I cleaned these little bolts with some WD-40 and then with brake cleaner, the whole thing, I realized that the vibrations went at 50% at their intensity, so they're kind of it's kind of better, but I'm trying now to clean this using a bolt, 2 washers and a nut, and to tie them in each bolt like I did with these 3, and this way it will compress the spring inside, so these will be movable. And with an impact wrench and a 10mm, I will just rotate them. As you can see, they freely rotate now while they are tight. And using also some good brake cleaner and some compressed air, I'm gonna clean very well each of one of these. And then I also marked here with a marker in order to remember which was the first one and the direction that I went. I also put a rag on the tire so brake cleaner won't get on the tire. Now we can start cleaning each one. Look what dirt comes out from there. Okay, so after we've cleaned all of them from this brake discs and from the other side, and make sure that they're freely moving now, they're not stuck anymore, they're really easy to move only with the fingers, so this is actually how they need to be. And you can see now that the disc is actually moving, it's movable. So we'll go out for a ride and confirm you that this is the root cause for the vibration, hopefully. Okay guys, so I've been to a local mechanic here that has a comparator, and we've put the comparator on both brake discs, and both of them were out of spec. They had pretty observable differences in the comparator. So this way I've ordered new NG brake discs for this CBR, and I'm gonna simply change them now by opening these 6mm Allen bolts. I've already put some WD-40 on them in order to make them more slippery when I open them. On both sides we're gonna change the discs and then put back the wheel. The brake calipers, which they have new brake pads, and then we'll go for a spin and test ride this motorcycle. All 6 bolts are out. Cleaned them really well with a wire brush because they had thread lock on them, and before reinstalling them with the new disc, put some thread lock on them, and also using a Newton-meter wrench, tie them up at their places with 20 Newton meters. Okay, all bolts are back and tighten easy. Now Newton-meter wrench, it's set on 20 Newton meters, 19 plus 1, it's 20 Newton meters, and we're gonna go ahead and tighten them up at 20 Newton meters in a crisscross way, and then we're gonna go ahead and change the other side. And as you can see, I put the wheel on the cardboard box that the discs came with, in order to prevent to harm the wheel or the tire. The other rotor is all set and tightened to 20 Newton meters. Now it's the moment to put some grease on the axle and as well to take out these spacers. The small one, it's from the left side of the bike, and the larger one, it's from the right side of the bike. This one is larger than the other one, and this will be on the right side of the bike. That's how you know the direction of the wheel. Also, you have this little arrow on the tire which indicates you what's the right position of the tire. So grease everything and put the wheel back. Okay, so wheel is back, everything is greased, and the wheel is spinning really good. Now it's the moment to bolt in these two bolts from here and the other two from the other fork with 30 Newton meters, and then as well the axle bolt, we're gonna tie it up with 60 Newton meters, holding the other side with an Allen key. I prefer to insert an Allen key through these holes, and this way keeping counter force. Alright, then we could move on with the calipers that are hanging back there, and we're gonna move to the rear wheel brake pads and caliper. Calipers are back, tighten up with 30 Newton meters. Now we can go ahead on the back, on the rear caliper, because when I've opened this one, it had the spring broken inside. It was in pieces, this little guy here. And today it arrived, so I'm about to put back this guy with two fresh new Nissin brake pads also on the rear caliper, and then we'll go for a spin. Rear caliper, really easy to do. Just open this bolt right here, and you have two choices. You either open this one as well, either when you open this one it will flip up and like that, and you can insert the brake pads from here, opening of course this one as well, but I will open this one and also the Allen bolt from here because I want to see inside, and I want to put back this little spring in the proper way. All the parts are opened. We have the new brake pads. Also, I've cleaned the caliper really good and pressed back the piston all the way back inside because the brake pads are new, so it will be easier to reinstall it. Don't miss this little rubber which comes right here, and also I'm gonna start by putting this metal thing back here. As you can see, this is its place, and then we can put back the spring and also the brake pads. Put the whole thing back together with these two bolts, and don't forget about the rubber. And then, least but not least, we're gonna put this back holding the brake pads. Okay, so I've just placed the brake pads in their position, and I've also greased a little bit on the inside that rubber and this pin as well, this bolt, to ensure that it will spin through this rubber. And now we can also I put this spring inside with the small side to near the piston. Okay, and now we can put the caliper. Easy, don't mess the rubber. Okay, now we can put back the bolt holding the brake pads through here, and then press on the caliper in order to put some pressure on the spring inside, and put back these two bolts, tie them up at 30 Newton meters, and that's it.